Former prisoners are being tried for taking the law into their own hands against the rapist and murderer of a 6-year-old girl. What will the punishment be? The story is heavy. All the circumstances are so tragic that you wouldn't find a bright spot, despite the fact that many people are involved in it, from small to great, and with different fates. Just under 10 years ago, a monstrous crime occurred in the village of Sibersko in the Omsk region. Children were playing on the dusty village street, many of different ages. Everyone in the village knew each other. A stranger would have been noticed immediately. Therefore, they calmly let their own go, not fearing that something bad could happen to them. 6-year-old Anya, name is fictitious, was playing with the others. Her mother looked out the kitchen window several times, saw a bright pink top, red pants, and continued to do housework. Lunchtime was approaching. Looking out the window again, she realized Anya was not among the children. The alarm did not immediately grip her heart, it just pricked, prompting immediate action. The woman went out into the street and called her daughter several times, thinking that she might be playing hide and seek and deliberately hiding somewhere nearby. There could be no question of going somewhere away from home. Unless a girlfriend persuaded her. The woman quickly ran around the neighbors' houses, where there were children of Anya's age. Everyone said that they had noticed her red pants with white stripes several times, but where the girl had gone, no one initially said. Although among those whom the girl's mother questioned, there was one who saw who Anya had left with, but kept silent, because there was a reason. The news of the child's disappearance spread around the village in an instant. The children were immediately dispersed to their homes. Just a couple of hours ago, the noisy street was deserted. The village plunged into a heavy wait for news. Most hoped that everything would be fine. After all, nothing like this had ever happened in Severnoy before. Among the children there was one boy, Anton, name is fictitious, who was 14 years old and stood out from the age group he hung out with. It was rumored that this was not without reason, that the boy was not all there, slow, his peers avoided him, considered him a fool. So he played with the little ones, who found it interesting with him. What especially attracted them was that Anton had a phone with games. Anton's mother also joined the search, not assuming what it would all end with. There might have been thoughts, but she did not share them with anyone, hoping that trouble would bypass her family. She had enough of the fact that her son was considered a simpleton. This was confirmed by a special commission, which did not reveal any serious mental disorders, but recommended placing the child in a correctional class. There it will be easier for him to study, and he will not be in constant stress as a lagging child among children with normal performance. Don't worry, he will grow up, get a working profession, and live like all normal people. The main thing is that he is kind to you. The mother agreed, although she had serious doubts about the kindness of her son. Where did it come from? He got it from his father, heavy-handed and quick to punish. Anton grew up nervous and fearful and felt more or less calm only in the company of little ones. The son had fits of anger, could be rude, say a bad word even to her, but with children, indeed, he loved to mess around. This was considered a sign of Anton's kindness, who, as they later recalled, was also on the street that day, playing with the little ones, as always. Anya was searched for everywhere. A total of about 100 people gathered, local residents and police officers. Bulletins were sent to all districts, just in case the child could have left on a bus. The girl could have hidden behind the seats and the driver did not notice her. They even assumed this, hoping for a miracle. A boy approached one of the police officers. "Uncle, I know where Anya went." The policeman looked carefully at the teenager. Did you see it yourself, or did someone tell you? I saw it myself. So, and where did she go? There, the boy pointed his finger towards the forest. The nearest thickets had already been examined. Are you sure? We were there. And there, I saw. They went there. They. Yes, the boy hesitated. The policeman understood that this was not for nothing and continued to question, but tried to speak softly, calmly, so as not to scare. They will scold for not saying earlier, although the search has been going on for several hours. Will you recognize the face if you see the one with whom Anya left? Or you didn't look closely and think you know him? Could be mistaken. The teenager disagreed with such an assumption and exclaimed with offense, "How can I not recognize? It's Anton, my brother." Your brother? Show me again where they went. The policeman understood who was being talked about and reported alarming news to his colleagues over the radio. Handing the child over to his mother, who was already faceless, the police rushed in the indicated direction. A few dozen meters off the trail on a large anthill lay the body of the missing girl. Her belongings were found in the neighboring bushes, scattered chaotically. Only a string with a cross remained on her, which the criminal used to kill. Anton was detained on suspicion of murder and rape. The mother could not believe that this crime was committed by her son, who was already deprived by fate. After the arrest, he looked scared, as usual after the punishment inflicted by his overly strict father. Anton confessed to everything, showed the crime scene and detailed what he had done, including nuances with the cross and string, which no one except the criminal and the police knew. The crime scene was cordoned off immediately and details were not reported. Anton was found guilty under 2 articles of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation: violent sexual actions committed using the helpless state of the victim, who had not reached the age of 14, Part 4, Article 132, and the murder of a minor, accompanied by violent sexual actions, Part 2, Article 105. The court sentenced the rapist to 9.5 years in a correctional colony. This was in 2014. Time flew by quite quickly. Anya's peers grew up. Some left their native village, some returned. There were those who remembered what had happened. They were already over 40 and they themselves had time to gain prison experience, but for other cases, not so disgusting and monstrous. On May 5, 2024, 2 local residents were walking down the street of Sibirsko. Both were ex-prisoners, trying to stick together. One nudged the other and pointed to the one who was walking towards them. Anton. Which Anton? The very one killed the girl in 2014. But he's in prison. Yes, apparently no. Alive and well, handsome, walking around the village. Maybe it's not him. Let's go meet him. They approached the 24-year-old guy, stopped him, conducted an interrogation to make sure that this was exactly the one they were thinking about. They were convinced that this was indeed Anton, who had been released after serving his sentence a month ago. Clear. But why are you here? Do you think people have forgotten everything? Forgiven? Have you already visited the grave with flowers? The guys were winding themselves up and getting even more heated, seeing Anton's attempts to avoid answers and get out of sight. He already regretted going out on the street. On the other hand, he returned because there was nowhere else to live. He couldn't sit in the house or in the barn forever. The situation was heading towards a showdown, but Anton's relatives, sensing something was wrong, followed him, saw everything, intervened, and took Anton home. The climax came late in the evening. Armed with a crowbar and a poker, those unhappy with the return of the rapist to his native village came to him with the intention to teach him a lesson and force him to leave and never appear here again. The father and brother tried to intervene, but they themselves got hit by the Avengers and were forced to call the police. The arriving squad found Anton's body on the porch, where he had managed to jump out when he wanted to hide in the yard, but did not have time. There he received another round of blows and was left lying. The Avengers, having let off steam, decided that this would be enough, and after such a lesson Anton would surely leave Sibersko forever. But fate had other plans. Anton died from injuries incompatible with life, and a criminal case was initiated against the Avengers. On the signs of a crime provided for by Part 4, Article 111 of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation, intentional infliction of serious harm to health, resulting in death by negligence. Time heals nothing. And memory, like a heated sting, if it hits right in the heart, not caring about the consequences.